midst of this jungle has sprung one of the fastest growing cities in the world. This is Singapore, one of the most densely populated countries on Earth. But even with 5.4 million people, there is a wild side. We will explore hidden worlds to discover the unseen treasures of Singapore and see how they have adapted to the human world. Deploying the latest filmmaking technology, we will uncover secrets and unexpected encounters. From bird's eye view to beneath the surface, in the light of day to the darkest corners. This is an island of rapid change, but the wild still exists. A home to an astonishing 40,000 species of animal and plant. But where is it hiding? In the wild city. Only 25 kilometers from the high-rise city centre, Sungai Buloh Wetland Reserve. The largest remaining mangrove ecosystem in the country, supporting a diverse community and the #1 predator in the country. That many people don't even know live here. The saltwater crocodile. The world's largest living reptile. Capable of growing to over 6 meters and weighing 1 ton. On the smaller scale at Sungai Buloh, but a huge addition to the nation's biodiversity. A sign of a healthy ecosystem. And Sungai Buloh can support just a handful. Male crocodiles are mostly solitary. And this stretch of river is his personal larder. Visitors are not welcome. A young male has ventured into occupied territory. Crocodiles are capable of explosive bursts of speed. For the intruder, it's best not to stick around. The dominant male has secured his territory in an environment that has been driven to the brink of extinction. In Singapore, only 4% of the original mangrove forest still exists. A rare but a vitally important habitat for more than just the crocodile. A group of smooth-coated otters. Who have adapted to a life on the fringes of the city. Smooth-coated otters are found throughout Asia. But in Singapore, they're critically endangered. Once declared locally extinct, this species returned 20 years ago, right here in the Sungai Buloh Wetland Reserve. The proximity of Singapore to Malaysia meant an easy swim across the strait, where they found a newly formed park protected from industry and development. Now a family of 5 enjoys this wild place, occasionally crossing paths with a lucky visitor. Smooth-coated otters live in close-knit family packs. Mum is the centre of the group. She's in charge. Dad is her loyal partner. They pair for life. And like all parents, they enjoy quality time with the kids. Important for this pair, who have 3 rowdy teenagers to keep in line. At just over a year old, these youngsters are on the cusp of adulthood. And just like many of us, they have much to learn about the wild around them. Their world is one of diversity. And Singapore has a surprising range of habitats. And it's not just one island. There are over 60. Only 20 minutes from the mainland is the island of Pulau Ubin. Preserved from development, it's a step back in time to a Singapore of the 1960s. Here you can bring a picnic, slow down and enjoy the ride. A stop at the mangrove boardwalk is a chance to encounter the smaller things in life. But taking advantage of this visitor attraction are the forest raiders. Wild boars, found all over Asia. And since the disappearance of the tiger, this species is now the biggest land mammal in Singapore. They live in herds, foraging in the forest for grubs and bulbs. But just like people, they have a weakness for easy, fast food. Pigs can eat just about anything. But such easy picking is not good for their public image or their stomachs. Weekend picnic plans also suffer. Back in the forest, Mum is in charge of the herd and her piglets. Born looking a little like a watermelon with legs, they will gradually lose their stripes as they get older. At this age, they're very inquisitive. This little piggy goes exploring. In the past, without Mum, he would already be in the belly of a tiger. But today, he's safe. Back in the centre of the city, the pace of life is a little faster and higher. But the wild has its own extreme high flyers. In a city of 5.4 million people, life often goes unnoticed. It's easy to blend in. Unless you're an aspiring high flyer. An extreme behaviour in the city. But just 20 minutes away, nature has already invented this stunt. Nighttime in the forest. Meet nature's own base jumper. The Malayan colugo. One of the most skillful gliding mammals on the planet. It's around the size of a large squirrel, but it's about to transform. Folds of skin stretch out to form a wing membrane, and the colugo becomes more like a bat. For an animal that rarely touches the ground, the only way to move around the forest is to leap and glide. It can cover over 130 meters in a single jump. The colugo may look like a squirrel or a bat, but it's neither. It's thought it could be more closely related to the primates. and it has evolved to live its whole life in the treetops and be an expert glider. Every part of the body is aerodynamically efficient. But these aerial adaptations present some unique challenges. Going to the bathroom turns these gliders into contortionists. The membrane is carefully folded back to keep it clean for gliding. Job done. It's time to mingle. Males rule a patch of territory. Competition is not welcome. The night is spent in a buzz of activity. But by morning, it's just about time for sleep. A female is getting ready for bed. Her baby has lived his entire life in his mother's arms. He'll stay with her until he's around 6 months old. But for now, his home is tucked up in her wing. At dawn, the rest of the country awakens. And the Colugo prepares to disappear. Transformed from a skilled glider to a camouflage expert. Sharp claws anchor it to the tree, and the fur is the perfect invisibility cloak. Living in the forests of Singapore, but so rarely seen. While the trees hide elusive creatures, on the coastline, the wild is out for all to see. You just need to look at the right time. Singapore's coast has 2 high and 2 low tides every day. And a whole community base their lives around these shifting water levels. A fish that has evolved to make the most of this tidal world. The mud skipper. It can swap swimming for walking. And while the tide is out, there's a lot to do. Mealtime and social time. But the mud skipper never forgets it's a fish. It must keep moist. But these pools didn't just appear. They're built by mouth. Mud is dug up and carefully deposited on the side of their pool. The pool is also their front door. Underneath, a burrow for breeding over 1 metre long. And males aim to attract females to this home by raising a flag. But the mudskipper is not the only Romeo in the tidal community. Meet the male fiddler crab. Beneath their tough exterior lies a desire to waltz into the heart of a female. Smooth moves will catch the lady's eyes. On this dance floor, size does matter. The males all have one big claw. The bigger the claw, the better the wave, the more she will like you. But the room is crowded. Males jostle to stand out. The ladies are forgotten. The claw now becomes a weapon. The female won over, it's time to retire. In the space of just a few hours, love has blossomed. And as the tide comes in, the neighbourhood transforms once again. The mudskipper goes for a swim. But not for long. Some species transform into tree climbers. It's a chance to relax before the next tidal shift. It's not just the mudskippers and crabs who keep a tide timetable. At Attenborough, the otter family bases mealtime around the tides. And a mid-tide means fishing time. The protected waters around the reserve are full of fish. But for the teenagers, making a catch is not always that easy. It's much better to hunt as a family. Mum and Dad lead the pack. In formation, the family works as a team. The aim? To create confusion and chaos for the fish. Once caught, lunch is best eaten fresh. The starter is eaten alone. But the main meal is often a sit-down family affair. But it's not all fish and fun times for this family. Even in a protected wetland, danger is never far away. The protected waters of Attenborough are full of fish, and smooth-coated otters are some of the most skilled fish hunters in the world. Their streamlined body is perfect for swimming. Their teeth are strong, and even in murky water they can feel their prey with their whiskers. That's important, as they each need to catch and eat about 1 kilogram of fish a day. But the downside to being good at fishing: uninvited lunch guests. The Malayan water monitor, one of nature's survivors. Adapted to just about any situation. The largest lizard in Singapore is a hunter and a scavenger. And this old lizard has learnt that the otters can provide an easy snack. Monitor lizards can grow to be over 2 meters long, bigger than a young otter. And he wants their fish. But the teenagers are not keen to share. However, they are inquisitive. He could be a new playmate. Or perhaps not. This scavenger only wants a free meal. Only 25 kilometers from these wild encounters, the city continues its rapid growth. Singapore's landscape has transformed dramatically over the last few hundred years. 95% of the original forest is gone. But the Garden City has given itself a new shade of green. Around 10% of the country is assigned to parks and reserves, enjoyed by ground dwellers and those above. The white-bellied sea eagle, the largest resident raptor in Singapore. Surrounded by water, the island nation is the perfect place for an aerial fish hunter. But the change on the ground has also reached the skies. For the eagle, it's meant some readjustment. A nest built in the wild can quickly become part of an urban world. Going unnoticed by most, this nest in the suburbs was here long before construction moved in. And inside, a very special bird. A female fledgling, about 12 weeks old. She is one of only a handful of white-bellied sea eagle chicks that hatch each year in Singapore. She did have a nest mate, but at around 6 weeks old, her sibling died. The evidence suggests it choked on discarded fishing line, accidentally brought to the nest by her parents. But the remaining chick has survived against the odds. Now she's almost the size of an adult and just about ready to take her first flight. But she must practice. An approaching storm gives her wind beneath her wings. This training is essential. It's a tough world up there. Her parents deal with annoyances and threats. A changeable hawk eagle is in their territory and too close for comfort. Paired for life, they unite for an aerial attack. Battle won, and it's back to the nest. The chick is not ready to leave just yet. When she does, she'll face challenges in the skies and the continued urban growth on the ground. The rapid development in Singapore has put pressure on the wild. Over 70% of the country's animals are under threat, due mainly to habitat loss. And the urban and the wild live in an often delicate balance. The wild dogs of northern Singapore. Feral, hungry and intelligent, they're survivors. Sungai Buloh may be a sanctuary, but it has no fences. Anyone can visit. The otters are safe in the water. And the dogs are no match for this close-knit family. But something is wrong. After diving for safety, one of the teenagers has been separated. Alone, even in the water, she's very vulnerable. She must find the rest of the pack. Finally, her calls are answered. But to reunite, she must cross dangerous ground. Together again. It's a big relief. Smooth-coated otters are some of the most social animals in the world. And living in a close-knit pack also ensures safety. But other creatures find their safety in darkness, hiding so well that they're rarely documented until now. In Singapore, the boundaries between the wild and the city are constantly shifting. Left alone, the wilderness will quickly reclaim the forgotten. But sometimes the urban has surprising wild visitors. The Nanyang Technological University, a busy campus in the western suburbs of Singapore. By day, a buzz of students and learning. But by night, things are a little different. Using a thermal image camera, we can see in the dark. The nocturnal creatures emerge. Some are easy to find, but others are elusive. The search is on for a very rare forest dweller that has been rumoured to attend university late at night. After months of searching, at 3 a.m, a Singaporean first. Heat images of the elusive Sunda pangolin, the world's only scaly mammal. And this species, found in Asia, is critically endangered. This is a juvenile, and he's an intrepid explorer. Tonight, he's swapping forest for night class. A glimpse of a pangolin in the wild is very rare. And after a brief visit, the young scholar heads home. Here, the pangolin hides for the day. Almost impossible to find. But behind the scenes, at the nearby research centre, a special close encounter. This is a 5-year-old female, a graduate of the captive breeding program. She's a skilled ground dweller and tree climber. The pangolin's body is adapted to forest dwelling. Strong claws help her to climb and search for ants to eat. And a protective covering of scales shields almost every part of the body. Once effective against long-gone predators such as the tiger, this armour is now the species' downfall. Used in traditional medicine, the scales are highly prized by poachers across Asia. In Singapore, it's estimated that there are only 100 Sunda pangolins left in the wild. Habitat loss threatens their survival, but protecting the forests can give them a refuge. Blessed with abundant rain, year-round sunshine, and an average daily temperature of 27 degrees, Singapore is a very pleasant island to live and visit. Known as a stopover and holiday destination, the country encourages a diverse population and welcomes visitors from around the world. And in September, the Sungai Buloh mudflats welcome visitors of their own. These common redshanks come from as far away as Russia, escaping the bitter winter. The wetland is the perfect tropical destination for migratory birds. A place to rest and refuel. The locals are happy to show off the best meals in town. The fiddler couple enjoy a lunch date. But for the male, the claw that attracted the lady now has its downside. While she eats with 2 spoons, he only has 1. She gets to eat much faster, but it's a small price to pay for a mate. Since its initial formation in 1989, Sungai Buloh Wetland Reserve is now recognized as a site of international importance. In a few months' time, the journey will continue for these visitors, and the residents will go on with their lives. The otter pack is still a close-knit family. The drama of the dog attack is a distant memory. But the teenagers are getting wiser and bolder. As they become adults, they will eventually leave to start their own family packs in new territory. Mum and Dad will breed again. But in the meantime, they're busy making sure that everybody knows this is their home. This scent dance marks their territory and turns the footpath into a notice board. The message: smooth-coated otters are here to stay. This is the Singapore we usually see. A vibrant, growing metropolis. But if you look beyond the concrete jungle, nature has found ways to endure and thrive. Hidden but not to be forgotten. These are the locals that make Singapore the Wild City.